Minister, before I start, can I just mark the passing of Ollie Cleary, a past mayor of Waterford and somebody who campaigned tirelessly for 20 years for the South East University. Minister, I suppose it is showtime all over again. I feel somebody should stand up and question the wisdom of breaking the fiscal rules in developing this budget, particularly when the pre-windfall corporation taxes means that in real terms we are actually operating a deficit. Fiscal rules developed by government to try to avoid the mistakes of the past, to avoid the pain, the trauma of boom and bust. I remember somewhat the mistakes of the late 1970s. I certainly remember the pain of the 1980s, only to see the mistakes of the noughties. If ever there was an aptly named decade, to see the horror of the global financial crisis subsequently cutting our country to ribbons. When will we learn that economic indiscipline in the good times causes deep social and cultural carnage when times go bad? On the night before a budget, every Minister for Finance, in my opinion, should read Jean-Claude Trichet's letters to Brian Lenihan. Of course we need to address the pressures to deliver on health, on housing, on infrastructure and to meet climate obligations. But every department, every part of government is getting a bump, like they always do. We are giving out participation awards, Minister, without any connection to performance, without any connection to delivery, or even looking at deploying areas of government that no longer make sense in the context of full employment or the other pressing needs of our citizens. The Irish Government Economic and Evaluation Service do some nice work, but without political cover, as do the Irish Fiscal Advisory Council, but they are being increasingly ignored. Without a serious political effort at root and branch spending reviews, we will never clean out the stable, never do the serious reforms. We will continue to fail to meet the public's demand for better services. Just look at the slow strangulation of Sláintecare, forgetting that the Irish people were promised universal healthcare in 2011. In 2017, Sláintecare was presented as a genuine, all-party attempt to renew and reform healthcare in Ireland. But even before the pandemic, it looked like it was dumped in favour of projects, trophy projects, grandiose projects, the most delusional blue sky projects. We pleased the Dublin and Cork health industries by allowing them to press ahead while other regions were left to starve. 6 years later, the only answer to our woeful health system is to throw more money at it. Indeed, Budget 2024 throws more money at problems than we have spent a decade throwing money at, without much progress. If we cannot do a sustainable budget when we have surpluses and full employment, when can we do them, Minister? The time to fix our roof is when the sun is shining. And despite all the headwinds and the mixed signals, the government coffers are full, and that means the sun is shining now, Minister. But of course, I can say this. I can emphasise the importance of keeping the government spending under control, because I am from Waterford. The South East, like the Midlands and the border region, is not fully at this national spend-a-thon. Regional GDP continues to fall behind in these regions. There is a massive deficit in high-quality, new knowledge economy jobs, usually IDA-supported jobs. And the kicker is that government refuses to undertake transformative capital projects in these regions. Worse, it even refuses to allow transformative projects to be developed, frustrating every step of the tortuous procurement process, meanwhile dancing their own favourite projects through the government-supported gatekeepers. So like the Celtic Tiger before, which half the country did not fully participate in, we will get the hangover, Minister, but we will not be at the party. I agree that many of the cost of living measures are needed, so I can vote for them. I will likely struggle to support the capital spending plans if they follow the previous and current directions of travel. I have raised these issues privately and publicly on the floor of this House with the finance ministers and with senior government. Projects are concentrated in Dublin and Cork. The rest of the country starve. The data presented on the spending plans are an insult to our democracy, to the credibility of this House. In 2016, we were pinged by the OECD for our lack of parliamentary oversight on spending. And despite the innovation of the Committee on Budgetary Oversight and the Parliamentary Budget Office, basic data on capital spending is not reported to this House. In fact, Minister, you often get more information from senior ministers' tweets than their statements to this House. Literally billions are dropped into departments and onwards, and onto a bunch of quangos like the HSE and HEA, which all operate as black holes. The money is never seen, never heard from again. So I will have to wait to see if there is any improvement, actually any fairness, any transparency in capital spending before I vote for these measures on a vote-by-vote basis. And overall, Minister, I cannot agree that this is the budget this country needed. I believe it breaks the fiscal rules. It certainly breaks, in my opinion, the spirit of fiduciary responsibility. It harms our credibility as a country, and it will likely feed inflation. And who knows what is around the corner for our small, open economy? And what levers will be left to pull? And also, where will these levers be located? Based on government's record of strategic infrastructure development to date, the contemporary history tells me they will not be available in the border, the Midlands or the South East regions. And I think, Minister, that is just more than a great shame.